Hi guys, and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron, and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the live game review to Everton's 1-1 draw against Manchester United at Old Trafford on Saturday afternoon. A brilliant performance by Everton in a game that we all went into sort of, I think, holding our head in our hands, thinking, you know what, let's just get through this. Hopefully we don't get battered, hopefully we don't get beaten, let's just get through it and see where we are after that, obviously with the international break, and then of course West Ham after the international break. But actually, after the game at 3 o'clock, after the final whistle, I'm sure we were all sitting here with the same sort of feeling in our minds, and that was a feeling of, you know, 2 drop points, very much of a feeling of we should have won that game. We had the opportunities to win it. Obviously, we had the situation in the last minute with the the last couple of minutes with the offside goal, and should Tom Davies had shot, or, you know, was he wrong to pass it to Yerry Mina, and all of that sort of stuff. So we went from a game of football that I think the majority of us, if not all of us, were dreading, to a game of football that actually ended up going in Everton's favour. And like I said, we were very, very unlucky to have not won. In the end, I thought we were much the better team throughout the course of the game, despite the fact that some Manchester United fans who have fan channels seem to believe that Manchester United were the better side, which is a bit baffling because I don't think they were whatsoever. You know, we had our opportunities in the first half. Solomon Rondon had a couple of chances. We had chances throughout the course of the game. Abdoulaye Doucouré, Damari Gray having a couple as well. And then, of course, you know, we had that opportunity towards the back end of the game. And I described this performance as a proud performance on Saturday afternoon, and I remain of that opinion. I am extremely, extremely proud of Everton Football Club and every single player that put that blue shirt on Saturday. I'm for this badge. I'm for us as Evertonians, because we always knew this was going to be a massively difficult game. Whichever way you look at it, you're coming up against Manchester United at Old Trafford. Whether it's Manchester United from 2008 or whether it's Manchester United from 2015, doesn't matter which Manchester United it is. It's always a difficult game when you come up against United at Old Trafford. Of course it is. They're one of the biggest football clubs on the world. They've got an absolutely fantastic squad in regards to quality. The likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Paul Pogba, you know, those players not even in the starting 11, those players only making the bench. Mason Greenwood, who's a fantastic youngster, obviously starting. Edison Cavani, one of the best finishers in world football. Bruno Fernandes, Anthony Martial, all of this, you know, ridiculous amount of quality and ridiculous amount of footballing ability at their disposal. And we were obviously coming into the game, you know, with an injury crisis, and I labelled it an injury crisis on Friday afternoon, and despite the fact that we put in an absolutely excellent performance and deserved to win, it doesn't change the fact that we still went into that game with a massive injury problem. We went in there without Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who of course has been out for a number of weeks now, you know, with a broken toe and a thigh injury. We went in there without Richarlison, who's got a problem with his knee after a tackle in the game against Burnley. We went in there without Seamus Coleman, of course, our captain. So, you know, not only did we go into that game against an absolutely fantastic squad of players and a ridiculous amount of quality, but we went into it with a weakened squad ourselves, which we couldn't really have afforded. As I said on Friday, it was always going to take every single Everton player putting in 110%, fighting for each other, fighting for the badge, getting in the faces, and Manchester United not giving them all the respect in the world, not sort of looking shell-shocked at the fact that they're on the same pitch with Cristiano Ronaldo and Paul Pogba, getting involved, getting the tackles in, throwing their body in the way of shots, throwing their body in the way of crosses, breaking when we can, taking our opportunities. We had this conversation, as I said, we knew Manchester United would give us opportunities. They haven't played well whatsoever this season at any point. Yes, they've gotten results. Yes, they've won games. Yes, they've picked up, you know, points left, right and centre, but performance-wise, they haven't performed well this season. They were very lucky to win a game against Wolves a few weeks ago, a couple of months ago. You know, only winning that in the 88th minute. Wolves were completely dominant and had, you know, a plethora of opportunities to put that game to bed before Manchester United got the winner. They were very lucky against West Ham, again only scoring in the 88th, 89th minute, whatever it was, and West Ham missing a penalty in the last minute of that game. Obviously, they lost to Villa last time out. They were very lucky in midweek against Villarreal. So we sort of knew even an injury-ridden Everton side would be given opportunities on Saturday, because this Manchester United team, for whatever reason, and again, I'm not here to discuss it because I'm not a Manchester United fan, and frankly, I couldn't really care. For whatever reason, it's not performing to the capability that it should be performing to, whether that's the manager's fault, whether that's the players being, 11 individuals rather than a team, I don't know. But one thing I can say for sure is that this Everton team turned up as a team. They turned up fighting for each other. They turned up battling for each other. There was a moment within the game where I think it was Scott McTominay tried to drag Luka Dean up, or I think it was Luka Dean, he tried to drag Luka Dean up after a foul, and the entirety of the Everton squad, Yerry Mina, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Alan, Luka Dean himself, Jordan Pickford, Solomon Rondon, they all surrounded the Manchester United players that were in and around that, and all surrounded the ref. It was almost as if to say, no, hang on, you don't just turn around and rag him up because you're Manchester United and you think you're great. Not a chance. We'll get in your face. We'll have a go at you as well. And they didn't like that, and that's what they don't like, Man United. They don't like teams standing up to them. They don't like teams who are prepared to come to Old Trafford and battle with them and fight with them, and aren't just going to sit there in awe of the fact it's Man United and go, oh my God, you can beat us 4-0 if you want because we're just happy to be here. No, it was all about Everton turning up and showing that we weren't just happy to be there. We were there to get a result, i.e. 3 points, if not a point. And at the end of the day, as I said, it baffles me how I'm listening to some Manchester United fans say that was a game they should have comfortably won. They were the more dominant team throughout. I really, really don't think so. I mean, other than the goal, which is a really good finish, and again, a defensive mistake, I can't remember the time that Jordan Pickford was tested. I think he made a couple of good saves throughout the game, but nothing that you wouldn't expect him to make. Saves that you would expect him to make in any game of football. That's not taking anything away from them. That's not saying that they weren't good saves, but they were saves that you would expect them to make. And yet, apparently, Manchester United dominated the game, and Everton were lucky to hold on for a point. If anything, I said it on Saturday and I'll say it again, and I'm absolutely confident in saying this, a full strength Everton side, i.e. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Seamus Coleman, pick up 3 points easily on Saturday, easily. We're sitting here today talking about an excellent performance where we've won the game at Old Trafford for the first time in however many years, since 2013, I think it was 2014, so that shows just how good of a performance it was. It really, really does show just how good of a performance it was, and it shows how refreshing it is to see an Everton team fighting for each other, an Everton team that isn't full of egotistical idiots that are only in it for themselves, and if they're not having an easy day at the office, then they're not interested, and that's not aimed at anybody in particular. That's just aimed at however many players we've had over the years that have had that mentality. They're not really in it to fight for their teammates. They're not interested in fighting for the badge. If it's a difficult game, they'll just turn up, get paid, do the bare minimum and get off, and put a post on Instagram or something saying we'll be back next time, and then they'll come and perform against one of the bottom teams the next week. No, that's not what we're interested in. We're interested in players that are there to fight, battle, work hard, give it 110%. And there was a very, very big possibility that Everton turned up against Manchester United at Old Trafford on Saturday, gave 110%, fought, battled, showed all the emotion, all the passion, all the energy, and still lost because Man United done the exact same, and they've got a better squad than we have. They've got more quality than we have. That's no question. No, I'm not going to sit here and say that we've got a better team than Manchester United. Our squad is bigger than obviously it's not. But we knew that we could have given it 150%, and if they'd have matched it, they'd have beaten us on the day because they've got a better squad than we have. But it was always that, what if they don't match it? What if they aren't that interested? What if they don't want the battle? What if they don't want us to get in their face? And that was always about Everton exploiting that, and we did, and I thought we did it absolutely brilliantly. And again, not often am I absolutely made up with a draw. I'm not. Typically, no matter who we're playing, I want to win the game. And if we don't win the game, yeah, sometimes a draw is acceptable and it's not the worst result. But I'm not often absolutely ecstatic after a draw. And I wouldn't say I was ecstatic at the weekend because I felt we should have won it. But I was much, much happier with that point than I have been with a point anywhere else in a long, long time. And the reason for it is because most sort of again, outsiders, pundits or fans of other clubs would have written us off before that game, and even a lot of Evertonians, include myself, were sort of sitting here on Saturday morning thinking, do you know what, let's just get through this, I'm dreading it. Now that was probably because of the pre-season game a few months back where they absolutely walked all over us, or it might have been because we were coming into this with such a weakened squad, but the immense amount of pride and sort of emotion and love I had for Everton Football Club and every single player on that pitch come 3 o'clock on Saturday was just, it was unbelievable, because they turned up, they fought, they battled, and they got a point in a game that as I said, was always going to be very, very difficult to. And it's mad, isn't it? We've had a lot of these situations over the last few years. Don't know if anybody else can will recall any. I'm sure some people will have had a lot more than me, but I've had a lot of these types of situations where you go into a game. It mostly happens with Merseyside derbies, but you go into a game and you're sort of sitting there in the pub or at home before the game, and you're thinking, do you know what, I'll take a point today. It typically does happen a lot in Merseyside derbies. You're sort of sitting there thinking, do you know what, got a lot of injuries, they've got a lot of good players in this squad. We'll take a point today. I'll snatch your hand off for a 1-1 draw. I'll snatch your hand off just to get away with a point and move on and get closer to having a full strength squad back. And that's very much what I was like on Saturday. 12:25 in the pub talking to my dad and the lads. I very much said, listen, and I very much said, listen, get through this, and if we can get a point, unbelievable. But we all sort of had this same feeling, and as I said, it typically happens with Merseyside derbies where we're all sitting there after the game, come 3 o'clock, and instead of saying, right, I'm absolutely amazed with that point, that's brilliant, that's exactly what I wanted, which was still very much the case, we were also thinking, but we should have got 3 points there. It was almost 2 points dropped, and that just shows the level of performance. That shows how good the performance was when you're sitting there before a game saying you'd snatch your hand off and you'd be ecstatic with a point, and then after the game you're unhappy that you didn't go on and get all 3. And yeah, as I said, it was a really, really good performance in my eyes, and again, it was a Rafa Benitez performance that will only grow his case in regards to being an Everton manager for most Evertonians. Listen, there's a lot of Evertonians, including myself, that Rafa Benitez doesn't really have anything to prove for. He's the Everton manager now, and I'll back him until the day that he's not the Everton manager, and that was always going to be the case. But there's still a lot of Evertonians out there that are very much unsure on Rafa Benitez, that are very much still not quite happy that he's the manager, still not quite satisfied, especially given the cup defeat a week ago when we went out to QPR. However, that performance and that result on Saturday will have given Rafa Benitez a lot of brownie points in a lot of Evertonians' minds, because ultimately we turned up with an injury-ridden squad. As Astro says, I'm sure if you know Astro, he does the videos for Toffee TV, the instant match reactions. We turned up with a squad thinner than a politician's conscience, and we managed to get a point against a team with Cristiano Ronaldo, Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, Mason Greenwood, Edison Cavani, this, that and the other, and we turned up, we battled, we fought, and we managed to, we got a result, and ultimately, as I said, a lot of us will feel that we should have gotten all 3 points, and we should have. As I said, some outstanding performers on Saturday. We will go through the game as we usually do, and we will be getting in the live comments. If you're watching live and you are enjoying, please do hit that thumbs up button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. That would mean an absolutely massive amount to me. I thought Abdoulaye Doucouré was absolutely unbelievable on Saturday. Unbelievable. That fella is some of these, I don't know, somebody said in the comments, best centre mid in the Premier League so far this season. It's hard to disagree with that. It's really, really hard to disagree with that at the moment. I think he is arguably the most important member of this Everton squad in a Rafa Benitez system. I know there's other players that people will throw out there, and I'm not going to argue against Andros Townsend or Damari Gray or whatever, but I think in this current system, with the way Rafa Benitez wants to play, I think Abdoulaye Doucouré is first name on the team sheet. He's absolutely number one. And how good is it to see Abdoulaye Doucouré performing the way we know he can perform? And what I mean by that is last season under Carlo Ancelotti, I think we seen him a little bit subdued. We saw him having to focus a lot more on his defensive duties than getting forward. We saw him having to cover a lot of space in the defensive areas of midfield next to Alan, and we always knew he had that pace and that intelligence and that ability to be a box-to-box midfielder, but we didn't really see it enough last season because he was doing a lot of his work defensively, and he was doing it absolutely brilliantly. Rafa Benitez come out in his press conference on Friday and said, and basically was asked what's changed between Abdoulaye Doucouré last season and Abdoulaye Doucouré this season, and he effectively said, listen, he come to me and said, I want to break into the box a lot more. I want to be more of a player that breaks into the opposition box, creating chances, scoring goals, being that box-to-box midfielder. And Benitez effectively said to him, go and do it, be free effectively, go and break in the box, create chances, get forward when you can. and we're seeing that from Abdoulaye Doucouré now. He's having an impact on almost every single goal that Everton score. Again, another assist at the weekend. Brilliant ball to Andros Townsend. We'll talk about the goal obviously later on in the stream, but his role in the goal is so vital. It can be easily mistaken when you talk about it. You could say, oh, Demarai Gray does brilliantly, sends Fred, back the shop. He absolutely battles 3 or 4 of them off, passes it to Doucouré. Doucouré gets it to Townsend. Townsend finishes beautifully. But that's sort of, again, that's almost forgetting how important Abdoulaye Doucouré's role is, because it's great. He picks the ball up, he drives with it, he cuts inside, and he plays a perfectly weighted pass. It's all about the pass. It could have been, a little bit off and behind Andros Townsend, and we mightn't have scored the goal. It could have been a little bit too in front of him, and we mightn't have scored the goal. It could have had not enough pace on it, and he, again, it mightn't have got to him in time. It could have had too much pace on it to the point where he couldn't control it. But it wasn't. It was perfectly weighted, absolutely perfectly weighted, and that just shows how good of a footballer he is. Alan, I thought, was immense, absolutely immense the other day. Battling, fighting, as I said, that sort of moment in the game, and if you haven't seen it, there's a screenshot on Twitter, and I'm sure there's a video on Twitter as well. I'm sure it's McTominay. He fouls Luca Dean and then starts to drag him up, and instead of Luca Dean just having a go at him, or him getting up and it all's resolved, pretty much the entire Everton squad going crowd Scott McTominay, as if to say, we don't care that we're at Old Trafford, we don't care that you've got a red shirt on and you play for Man United. That's our teammate, and we'll stand up and we'll fight for that fella because he's our teammate. Not let alone he was our captain on that day. So it wasn't anything of the, oh, we're at Man United, just get up and forget about it and act like nothing's happened. No, if you want to try and rag us up, we'll get round you, we'll get in your face. Yerry Mina's in people's faces, Doucouré was there, Alan was straight in there, and it's that team spirit, it's that team fight. That is what, when Luca Dean walks off that pitch, I can't remember if it was in the first half or the second half, I think it was in the first half, when Luca Dean walks off that pitch at half time, he'll be thinking, do you know what, everyone had me back there. He won't be thinking, yeah, I got ragged up and no one even come around me. I was on my own with this fella screaming in my face. He'll be thinking, oh, do you know what? There's an air of togetherness. And that's what we're all thinking. That shows that these lads are fighting for each other. They're playing for each other. They're genuinely all mates. And that's so important for a football team. Yes, you've got to have quality footballers. Yes, you've got to be able to do your job. But it's so important that there's no just sort of selfish personalities around the changing room. Everybody's working for the same goal. Everybody's fighting for the same thing. And that was on show on Saturday. Andros Townsend, I thought, was excellent again. Demarai Gray, mate, are you sure he was a free transfer? I'm actually, to be honest, I'm borderline phoning up Bayer Leverkusen, their head office, and going on to Google Translate, going on to Google Translate and just Googling what I'm sorry is in German. Somebody might know in the comments. If you know what I'm sorry translates to in German, let me know. And I'm borderline calling up Bayer Leverkusen and just repeating it for about 2 minutes on the phone and just saying, listen, I'm so sorry that you let this lad go for free, because he is an absolute diamond, that fella. An absolute diamond. Again, come in, pretty much, again, obviously he'd been over to Germany, it hadn't quite worked. He'd been at Leicester, it hadn't quite worked. Come in at an age of 25 where we were all thinking, right, well, hopefully he's matured, hopefully he's ready to settle down, hopefully he's ready to get his head down and work. He was given an opportunity to come and play in the Premier League again, and Demarai Gray has shown why he wants to repay that, that thankfulness to Rafa Benitez for giving him that opportunity. And we're now seeing an absolutely unbelievable player who has had a massive impact on this side. Again, on Saturday, he was absolutely excellent. But anyway, before we get into individual performers and a little bit more on on that sort of stuff, we will get into talking about the game then, the first half, second half, as we usually do. If you're enjoying, by the way, please hit that big thumbs up button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you're watching live, then please do get your thoughts in the live comments. And we will be getting involved with as many of them as we possibly can. Let's get into the live comments then before we do start. EFC Graphics says, not sure if you meant it, but the thumbnail says preview instead of review. Yeah, it wouldn't let me change it on my phone. That's why I didn't have the review thumb on my on my computer, so I usually change them on my phone, but for some reason it wasn't letting me change it on my phone, so I'll have to change it later. I will change it later. Tazio says, hi Cam, hi Tazio. Will says, Doucouré currently the best centre mid in the Prem. Yeah, I would agree. Jason says, hi Cam, hi mate. C-Play says, Cam, Ollie said we were counter-attacking and it was their fault, we drawed, and that's what That's what he said, even though yesterday was all about Everton Saturday. Yeah, well, listen, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to come out and say absolutely anything to keep his job. That fella won't be in a job come Christmas. He won't be. The way I see it, and the way I saw Cristiano Ronaldo storming down the dressing room on Saturday without even going up to the Manchester United fans and clapping them or shaking hands with everybody. Firstly, he was fuming that Andros Townsend does the anti-shoe celebration better than him. Secondly, he very clearly has got a problem with the manager or how that game was managed. I think it's only a matter of time before Cristiano Ronaldo goes up to Sir Alex Ferguson and says, listen, if you want me to stay, if you want to keep this massive income stream that I bring at this football club, he needs to go, and let's go and get a serious fella in who's serious about challenging for league titles and not just smiling at getting draws. Because let's be honest, you know, I love Everton and I think Everton are the best team in the world, but Manchester United would have felt like they should be winning games of football like that. Certainly if they're in a title challenge. They're not in a title challenge performing like that. They're not. Tazio says fantastic performance and points against Man U, yes. United fans can't admit they're crap. Well, again, I think it's just a case of them. Listen, they need a new manager, in my opinion. They need a new manager. Matty says, afternoon, Cam, hope you're all good. Absolutely brilliant result and performance on Saturday for once. The Blues go into the national break with a smile on our face, bring on West Ham. Is right, mate. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Really, really important international break, by the way. Usually, I hate the international break, but the last two, this one and the one in September, have come at just the perfect time for us, to be honest with you, to get over injuries, to get players back to fitness and back in training, and hopefully when we play West Ham, we've got a much... we've got players back and we've got a much stronger squad. Seablade says, Cam, Everton is the only team to be undefeated at Old Trafford 2 seasons on the bounce. Interesting. AFC Graphics says, we always seem to have major injuries, but we're not Liverpool, so you won't hear about it. Yeah. Matty says, who needs Ronaldo when you've got Graham Townsend on the wing? Spot on. And Hernandez says, well done, Rafa Benitez. He has shown incredible tactics in most games, and even when he doesn't, he is not too proud to change it. Hopefully we can get some players back during the international break. Yeah, couldn't agree more. Absolutely spot on. Let's get into talking about the game then, because we're 20 minutes in and we haven't even officially started talking about the game of football. So it kicks off, and obviously in the opening 15 minutes, Manchester United do what you sort of expect them to do. They're holding the ball up, they're the side with the most possession, they're getting forward, and you know, they're not, I wouldn't say they're massively threatening our goal, but they're certainly the team that looked the more likely to make something happen in the game at that time, and that was always going to be the case. You know, at Old Trafford against Man United, there was always going to be a period of play, in fact multiple periods of play where Everton had to soak it up. Everton had to stay strong, stay resilient defensively, and ensure that we didn't let anything, you know, we didn't give any stupid fouls away, we didn't give any stupid goals away, we just didn't do anything stupid, and we knew in that opening 10 or 15 minutes they were going to be straight out the hill. Now obviously it started with the team news an hour before the game, 11:30, we found out Cristiano Ronaldo was on the bench, Paul Pogba was on the bench. Again, I to be honest, I looked at it and thought, I wasn't sitting there at 11:30 thinking, oh my god, Cristiano Ronaldo's on the bench here, absolutely boss. Because what I was thinking was, well, it doesn't really matter that Cristiano Ronaldo's on the bench, because it's not like they're replacing him with somebody who's absolutely dreadful. They're replacing him with Edinson Cavani, who, again, is one of the best goal scorers in world football and has been for some time. They're replacing him with Anthony Martial, who, okay, hadn't scored a goal in 8 months, but always scores when he plays against Everton. So it wasn't like you were looking at it going, oh my god, Ronaldo's on the bench, you know, we've got a chance. You were looking at it going, well, it doesn't really matter, because they've replaced him with, somebody else who, okay, mightn't be as good, but still is good enough to score goals in this league. I was more looking at Everton's team, thought it was a strong team, really interesting to see Anthony Gordon get the nod, obviously with Alex Iwobi being out injured. We spoke on Friday in the preview about whether Rafa Benitez would use that injury to play a more defensive style, i.e. start a Davis or somebody else, or you know, the Davis or the Gbamin, etc., or play with more of an attacking style and maybe go with an Anthony Gordon in that number sort of 10 role, or the further attacking midfielder. And Rafa Benitez did go with Anthony Gordon, so we lined up with Jordan Pickford in goal, Luca Dean at left back, Michael Keane and Yerry Mina back as a centre back partnership, with Ben Godfrey at right back, of course, the absence of Seamus Coleman, Abdoulaye Doucouré and Allen in the midfield with Anthony Gordon, and then of course there was those three in midfield, and then Andros Townsend, Damari Gray, and Solomon Rondon up front. The expected team, of course, again, as I said, we knew Dominic Calvert-Lewin wasn't back for this game, even though he's back training and you know, doing some individual work at Finch Farm. We knew he wasn't going to be fit and ready for this one. Obviously, Andros Townsend, Richarlison, we knew wasn't ready. We knew he was still injured. Seamus Coleman, again, similar with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, back doing individual work, but of course not ready to start. So we knew it would be Solomon Rondon up front. We knew it would be Damari Gray, Andros Townsend, and I had no issue with that whatsoever. And it was really nice to see Anthony Gordon get the nod and get his opportunity in what was obviously a massive game at Old Trafford. And it actually turns out that I thought Anthony Gordon was brilliant on Saturday. Absolutely brilliant. I think it was his best game in an Everton shirt by some stretch. Jack the Lad says, I heard you're a fake blue. You lad, there's a photo of you in a red shite shirt in the internet. There's definitely not, mate. There is definitely not. I have never worn a Liverpool shirt in my life, and I never would. So it's either a fake photo or it's somebody. Are you sure it's not Daniel Craig? Because I have had a couple of people say I do look suspiciously like James Bond. So maybe it's Daniel Craig. I know he's a big cop-eye, but definitely not me. Not when he's messing. I look more like Pierce Brosnan probably. But yeah, solid lineup in regards to what we could have put out there. It's not ideal. Obviously, ideal would have been Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Seamus Coleman, but we knew those players weren't available. So it was the best lineup we could have put out, in my opinion. And we knew from that point it was going to be a difficult afternoon. Solomon Rondon has played a ridiculous amount of football recently, so we knew he was going to be tired. We knew he was going to struggle to keep up with the pace of the game. And it was always about the defence for me on Saturday. It was always about keeping that resilience, keeping that solidity, not making any mistakes, not doing anything stupid, because it wasn't the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo was on the bench or Paul Pogba was on the bench. It was the fact that the players on the pitch were still more than good enough to cause Everton issues, especially cause Everton issues if we make mistakes or allow them to get into the game. So it was really important that Yerry Mina, Michael Keane, Ben Godfrey and Luca Dean all, put in a solid performance. And as I said, the opening 10-15 minutes, Manchester United did have a lot of the ball. They were moving the ball well, and again, they were getting forward and putting pressure on Everton's defence. But we dealt with it. We dealt with it relatively well. And then we come back and we had a bit of pressure on our own. We were hitting them on the counter-attack. We had a couple of chances early on where the ball was fizzed across. Solomon Rondon had one where it was blocked. I think Abdoulaye Doucouré had a shot blocked as well. And you could sort of see that, Everton could exploit that Manchester United defence. Okay, I think Manchester United were relatively comfortable in defending the chances that we had in that first half. But you could almost see that there was an opportunity there for us to, for us to sort of get ahead in the game. There was an opportunity in there for us to exploit that Manchester United backline. Yes, of course, we always had to be aware of their, attack and the quality that they bring in their attack. But we also were sort of at a point where, I think for me anyway, I was thinking, you know what, we can get at these. Anthony Gordon got down the left-hand side a couple of times and put a couple of really, really nice balls in. I think Damari Gray had the much better of Aaron Wan-Bissaka for the majority of the first half. In fact, the majority of the game. And just Townsend, again, was working really, really hard. Wasn't massively involved getting forward, but was working incredibly hard to keep the ball and to pick the ball up and to move it, etc. And yeah, as I said, it was a very sort of even first half, in my opinion. Yes, Manchester United probably had more of the ball. That's fine. Yes, they were probably the more attacking side if you look at the stats or you listen to Gary Neville or whatever. But Everton were more than doing enough to hold our own. Don't think they caused us many problems going forward whatsoever. Yes, they had a couple of balls that got fizzed across the box. I think Mason Greenwood fizzed one across the goal mouth, and it was dealt with. And I think Edison Cavani put a cross in as well, and it was headed out. But nothing sort of massive, a few scares, but nothing that you sort of look at and go, oh my god, these are absolutely dominating here. Because every time Manchester United got forward and created a chance, Everton would go up the other end and create an opportunity. And like I said, Solomon Rondon had a couple of chances in that first half. And again, nothing against Solomon Rondon. I completely understand the situation. He hasn't played football in 4 months, and he's played 4 games in the space of 2-3 weeks, whatever it is, for Everton, because obviously the injuries to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Nothing against Solomon Rondon, but I do feel like had Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison been on the pitch on Saturday, we'd have taken at least one of those 3 or 4 chances that we had in the first half. And as I said, somebody pointed out on Friday, the midfield battle. in this game. It was always going to be about who can win that midfield battle. Obviously, you had McTominay, you had Fred, and you had Abdoulaye Doucouré and Alan, and it was always going to be about who the stronger midfield was, who was able to keep the opposition's attack at bay, and who was able to sort of, I suppose, enforce themselves more on the game. And I think Everton's midfield won it for the entirety of the game. Yes, there were moments, like I said, where Manchester United looked more threatening and maybe had a bit more of the ball, but I think overall, in the grand scheme of things, I think Alan and Abdoulaye Doucouré completely bossed Scott McTominay and Fred. For the start, Damari Grace, as I said before, sent Fred back to shop for a pint of milk, for Everton's equaliser. But I think we were much more dominant in midfield. We were the much more sort of attacking side. And yes, they were, they were getting the ball forward to their forward line, but it was a very even sort of half. We worked really, really hard. You could tell that we were working harder than they were, and again, that's no issue for me, because we were always going to have to work harder than they were. When you're coming up against the team with that amount of quality in the side and that amount of sort of tactical ability, as I said before, the likes of Mason Greenwood, who's one of the best youngsters on the planet, the likes of Edison Cavani, out-and-out goal scorer, Anthony Martial, we were always going to have to work harder in order to match them. And I had no problem with that. I had no problem with it whatsoever, and I think we did work harder. I really, really do think we did. It's just a shame that just before the end of the first half, Manchester United get the breakthrough. It really was the sort of, again, the worst time to concede, because it got to 38, 39 minutes, something like that, and you're sort of just thinking, right, get in at half time, 0-0, solid, hard work and battle and performance, and then go again in the second half, do the same, and see if you can convert one of those chances. We said it on Friday, we were always going to get chances, always going to get chances. On the weekend, it was just about whether we could convert them or not. And when we went 1-0 down, I was sort of sitting there thinking, just don't let the floodgates open now, effectively. Once obviously Anthony Martial's goal, and we'll talk about the goal in a moment. My initial thought at that point was get to half time, kill the momentum. Any momentum that they're going to get from going 1-0 up, kill it now. Get to half time, have that 15-minute break, and then come out. And as long as we frustrate them for 10 or 15 minutes after half time, the game will return to what it was, before they scored the opening goal, which was very even and all about, working hard and us taking those chances that we were creating. But it was sort of it was a head in the hands moment for me, because I was sort of thinking, as well as we've played and as much as we've battled, and when we went in at half time, I was relatively pleased, because I thought we'd worked really hard. And as I said, I thought the goal was quite lucky, but you were sort of thinking, right, just don't drop your heads, effectively. You've gone 1-0 down, you've worked really hard, you've put in a solid performance. Don't now drop your heads and let them get to 2 and 3, because that's what Man United would have been looking to do. They'd have been looking at it thinking, right, we've sort of been out battled in this first half, we've got a goal, go out and kill the game now, go and get a second, go and get a third, and then kill it off. Let's talk about the goal. And if you're enjoying, by the way, please hit that thumbs up button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. We are aiming towards 5,000 subscribers. Subscribers are fluctuating at the moment. I don't know whether it's still the last of the Hammers fans moving on to go and subscribe to Al Ryan Fan TV, if that exists. But if you can subscribe, it would mean an absolutely massive amount to me. We will be getting back in the live comments in a moment, by the way, so don't forget to get your live comments. And if you're watching a YouTube video, get your thoughts in the comments section, and we'll get involved with as many of them as we can as well. The goal. Let's talk about it then. Obviously, as I said, Man United, a constant threat. Of course, they're a constant threat. They've got a ridiculous amount of quality in their team. Get forward. Bruno Fernandes gets on the edge of the box, and Yerry Mina and Ben Godfrey are very much attracted to Bruno Fernandes, and maybe more so attracted to the ball as well. And look, I don't put an awful lot of blame on Ben Godfrey, if I'm being honest with you. And the reason for that is because he's a centre-back by trade. He's a natural centre-half. So for as much as you could say he is to blame, because he was playing right back and he should have been more tactically sort of awake and understood that, okay, I'm not playing centre-half, I need to move over to right back. It's easier said that than done, isn't it? When a player of the quality of Bruno Fernandes is lining up a ball on the edge of the box and you're thinking he's going to shoot, as a centre-back, you're probably naturally, attracted to go and close that ball down. And it's pretty simple. I think both Yerry Mina and Ben Godfrey get attacked into the same ball. Anthony Martial is completely free on that left-hand side, or right-hand side, Manchester United's left-hand side. It's played into him, and as he does, is anybody... I'd like to know for anybody watching the live comments, there's 35 people watching, was anybody surprised that Anthony Martial scored against Everton? Because that fella doesn't score all season, but plays against Everton. It was mad. I've seen some fans on Twitter, before the game, Man United fans, why is Martial starting? Where's Ronaldo? Why are we starting Martial? Hasn't scored a goal in 8 months. I remember looking at it thinking, this fella always scores against Everton. Why? They're moaning, but he's got almost guaranteed a goal, and he did. Again, he's another one of those players that will be added to the list of players that are constantly scoring against Everton. And yeah, like I said, he's left free on that left hand side, and he manages to blast the ball into the roof of the net. It does take a deflection. Initially, I thought Jordan Pickford should do a little bit better, but having watched it on the replay, it takes a deflection off of Ben Godfrey's knee, I think, and ends up it just takes it away from Jordan. I think Jordan's ready for the shot to sort of be hit at him, and a deflection just moves it a little bit to the right. And on first view, it looks like it's, he should be doing better, but on second view, it's that little bit of movement that just takes it completely away from him, and he can't do any more. And as I said, all of a sudden, 5, 6, 7 minutes before half time, we're 1-0 down, and you're thinking, right, we've worked really hard here. It's going to be, much harder to get back into the game than it would have been to go 1-0 up, because of course it is. However, we could still get back into this game. These aren't a great side. They're not a great team. They're given opportunities. It's just about us taking those opportunities. We're winning the midfield battle. And obviously it was always about not allowing them to go and get a second and third as well. Obviously we see it out till half time and we go in 1-0 down. And like I said, not much to, I suppose, be annoyed about really. It was a really hard working battling performance. And as I said before, I think it was an even half, but we had to work an awful lot harder than they did to get to that stage. And that's why I think we were the more happier of the sides, because we were showing that work. Yes, we got in 1-0 down, but we were showing that, we were working and we were battling and we were fighting. Anyway, let's get into the live comments then before we go on to talking about the second half. If you're enjoying the stream, by the way, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second if you're new. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Adam says hi. Adam says hi, Cam. Hi, mate. How you doing? Jason says, I've heard pundits say Gray and Townsend could be close to an England call up if their form continues. Not sure I would be happy about that. Well, they both will be called up to England if their form continues. In fact, it's absolutely ridiculous that neither were called up to England on this occasion, to be honest with you. But as I said, I'm not complaining. They get an extra couple of weeks rest, and then they're much fitter for the game against West Ham, which is all I care about. I'm not really arsed about England. Obviously, for an unselfish point of view, I hope they get a call up, because that's what those two will be wanting. Of course it will be, but from an Evertonian's point of view, I'm not that bothered. It's great for us that they've stayed. Eugene says, the Corey and Alan bullied the United duo. Will says, Dukes and Alan are simply exceptional in my opinion. Dukes is currently the best centre in the league. He's incredible. They are. They've grown in a wonderful partnership. And look, I'm not going to sit here and slew the last manager and sit here and say, oh my God, this, that, and the other. They weren't as good under Ancelotti, whatever. They've obviously grown this partnership over the period of a year. It's not just like they've turned up this season and they've been, entwined with each other. This has obviously been something they've been working on for a long time. But I think Abdoulaye Doucouré having that sort of permission, I suppose, from the manager to get forward a lot more and to be that box to box and almost like a creator for the team, I think that helps the partnership as well, because you're now seeing an output from it as well. You've got the unbelievable resilience and hard work of Abdoulaye Doucouré, the battle, the grit, the fight, the determination of Alan, and now the creativity of Abdoulaye Doucouré as well. James says, what a game, Cam. We keep this level up and believe we'll have a good season. That buzzing about Townsend with the shoe to top it off. Yeah, Townsend doing the old shoe celebration as well. He nearly fell over, but you know what? We'll take it. I read an interview with Andrew Townsend today, actually, about, him not meaning to disrespect Ronaldo, and when he ended up going, I think, and getting his shirt at the end of the game, and he said, his plan was always to do the shoe celebration, but only if we were A, winning the game, B, gotten back into the game after playing well, And I suppose as well as them too, it was sort of towards the end of the game, and he says he remembers doing it and then looking up the clock and seeing 62 minutes and then sort of thinking, oh my god, I'm not going to get, effectively he was thinking, if Ronaldo comes on and scores the winner and does it, I'm going to look a right tit. So he said every time Cristiano Ronaldo got the ball, he was sort of thinking, here it is, but obviously we ended up defending it really well. But yeah, it was boss to see. It just wound them up, didn't it? And that's what you want. Listen, I'm made up. Cristiano Ronaldo bounced off in a stop. I'm absolutely made up, because it shows that that's exactly what we wanted to do. That's exactly what we needed to do. We said it all along. It was always about not showing this Manchester United team all the respect in the world. They're a great side with great players. It was always about, if Cristiano Ronaldo's on the pitch, don't stand there and go, oh my god, it's Cristiano Ronaldo. Get in his face, get in his ear, make it physical for him. That's why that's why I love Yerry Mina so much, because he's not bothered who he's coming up against. He's going to make it the hardest game of your career. And I made up Townsend did that. And I know he's come out since and said he's his idol, and it was, it meant, there was no disrespect meaning in it, but it was boss. It was absolutely boss. Matty Blue now says, did anyone notice that our fans were louder than theirs? I don't think I've ever seen that before at Old Trafford. This is what Everton Football Club is all about, the best fans in the world. Yeah, we have got the best fans in the world, mate. You're absolutely spot on. Eugene says, Gray savouring Everton freedom. James says, away fans were amazing for us. Yeah, Anthony says, not many times we can say every one of those players worked hard all through that game. Spot on. Seaplay says, Cam, I'm getting excited. We could finish in the Champions League if we play for the badge all season, which I believe we will. Let's again, there's a long way to go. I'm not entertaining the champion. I'm not even entertaining Europe at the minute, because there's still a long way to go. But as I said, in games like this, and against coming up against teams like Manchester United with the squad that they have and the players that they have, especially going into this game with injuries and with injury problems, it was always about us wanting it more than they did. It was always about us showing that we wanted it more. It was always about us working harder, fighting, battling more than they ultimately were willing to. James says, the fans will get behind the team and we work hard. Has to be down to Rafa and the coaching staff. Dogs of water back. Yeah. Eugene says, Townsend goal for Everton against Burnley was match of the day, goal of the month. Yeah, it was. Rafa says, the difference between Carlo and Rafa is night and day. How can anybody not want him? Interesting. And Seabury says, Cam, do you think we'll win the derby? I thought Michael Keane was Puyol. Michael Keane played really well on Saturday. I haven't got a bad word to say about Michael Keane, to be honest with you. I think, as I've said before, I've said it time and time again before, and I'll say it again, whoever plays next to Yerry Mina, whether it be Michael Keane, Mason Holgate, Ben Godfrey, Jared Branthwaite, doesn't matter who it is, whoever's playing next to Yerry Mina, they play much better when Yerry Mina's on the pitch than they do when Yerry Mina isn't on the pitch. I think we've seen that from Michael Keane a couple of times over the last couple of weeks, and we saw it again on Saturday. He was really solid. Everything that he had to deal with, he dealt with. Everything in the air he dealt with. On the floor, he played well. So again, I completely agree. I thought Michael Keane played well. Anyway, let's get into the second half then. As I said, we come out in the second half, and it was always sort of about us. It was always about us getting back in the game as well, but also being able to soak up that Manchester United pressure for that opening 10-15 minutes of the second half to ensure that they don't go and run away with the game effectively. And we did that again. We were working hard, we were battling, we were fighting. We had that moment, as I said, where Scott McTominay tries to rag Luca Dean up, and Luca Dean, gets up, and the whole Everton team are crowding and showing that teamwork and that passion and that desire. And we again looked the much better side in the second half. We looked like we wanted it more. We looked like we were working harder. We were battling more than they were. We were fighting more than they were. And it gets to I think it was the 56th minute, maybe 65th minute, something like that. All of a sudden, Manchester United have a corner. Now, it's interesting this, because how many times do you see Manchester United concede a goal from their own corner at Old Trafford? Very few times. I know from recent times anyway that I've witnessed Manchester United concede a goal like that. They had a corner. It comes straight out. Damari Gray, by the way, does absolutely brilliantly. I can't sing this lad's praises enough. In fact, I'm going to do it. We're in the international break now, so no games to talk about. We're going to do a stream on Damari Gray and on Townsend, and how both of them have just been a complete revelation for Everton Football Club so far this season. Not to jinx them, but Damari Gray shows a different side of him. For this goal, he's already showed us his ability on the ball. We know that. He's already showed us his pace. We know that. He's already showed us his ability to beat a man. We know that. He's already showed us his knee slides. okay, he didn't get it right the first time, but he got it right the second time. We know that. But he showed us a different side to his game on Saturday, and that was that he's very, very strong. He completely bounced Fred. I've heard some people say Demarai Gray got the better of Fred in a 50-50. Demarai Gray got the better of Fred in a 90-10, mate. It was a 90-10 in Fred's favour. But again, we wanted it more than they did. It wasn't a case of, it's a 50-50 and Demarai Gray was stronger than he was. Demarai Gray was stronger than Fred was, but it was a 90-10. Demarai Gray wanted it that much more than Fred did. He gets to it, he bounces him off the ball, he's running at 2 or 3 United defenders, I can't remember who he is. He plays a lovely ball across to Abdoulaye Doucouré, absolutely exquisite pass. Andros Townsend's making a ball bust and run down the right hand side. Doucouré's seen him, he's cutting down, the 2 Manchester United defenders are throwing themselves forward, thinking that Doucouré's going to come inside. He cuts on the outside, he plays a perfectly weighted pass. As I said, do not underestimate how good of a pass that is by Abdoulaye Doucouré. He could have passed it behind Andros Townsend. He could have passed it too far in front of him. He could have passed it with too much weight, and it'd have gone past him. Not enough weight, and he'd have had to stutter and get the ball. It was perfectly weighted to the mile per hour, mate. I don't know how many mile per hour it was, but it was perfectly timed, perfectly weighted. Andros Townsend, nice little touch, gets it out his feet early, weak foot, and it's 1-1. And all of a sudden, Manchester United have gone from having a corner, thinking that they can extend their lead to 2-0, to it being 1-1 in the space of 25 seconds because of an excellent, and it was a counter-attacking goal. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's right, Everton scored a counter-attacking goal. He's not right saying we were a counter-attacking side, because we had 5 opportunities to win the game and Manchester United didn't have another chance after that. Even when, Cristiano Ronaldo come on with his knee eye socks and his fancy, long sleeve shirt, they didn't have those chances. So again, we get back in the game. Absolutely brilliant goal from Demarai Gray's strength and intensity, and again, willingness to go. Typically some players in that situation would have seen Fred running towards the ball and almost certainly getting the ball. Another 2 Manchester United defenders there, 1-0 down at Old Trafford. Some players have gone, you know what, I'll give that one up and I'll save my energy. But he didn't give it up. He battled, he fought, he bounced them out the way. He gets there first. He wants it more than any of those Manchester United players did on that pitch. Demarai Gray wanted it more. He got it to Doucouré, who wanted it more than any of the United defence. Gets it to Townsend. Townsend, really lovely finish on his right foot. Perfect counter-attacking goal. Perfect. Not one element of that goal was could have been better or should have been perfect. Pitch perfect goal, and I'm not talking about the film with, I don't know who's in it, but absolutely perfect goal. The celebration obviously is amazing. In hindsight, it is amazing. I do understand that where Andros Townsend's coming from, because I did sort of think it myself. As soon as I seen that he'd done it on the replay, I sort of thought, please don't let Cristiano Ronaldo come on now and and go and get the winner. I just thought, I was thinking, how Everton would it be if Ronaldo scores in the 98th minute and scores the winner, and Andros Townsend's, the camera pans to Andros Townsend and he's just looking shocked as Ronaldo's doing the shoe. But he didn't. As it happens, as I said, Andros Townsend does the shoe celebration, and it's 1-1, and all of a sudden, again, Manchester United become frustrated. They make the changes. They bring on Jadon Sancho, £90 million player. They bring on Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the best in the world. They bring on Paul Pogba, one of the best midfielders in the world, World Cup winner, and yet they couldn't do anything. And we brought on Tom Davies, and I remember reading Twitter, going through and seeing a lot of Evertonians saying, Man United bring on Paul Pogba, we bring on Tom Davies, this is the problem. Take away the moment at the end of the game where Tom Davies maybe should or shouldn't have shot the offside goal. I actually thought Tom Davies played well. When he come on, he battled, he fought, he worked hard, he won the ball back a couple of times in really good areas. He made a really nice pass down that left-hand side. I can't remember who it was. I think it was to Demarai Gray, who put a ball in and it got clear, but it was a really good interception by Tom Davies. The problem is, Paul Pogba's an unbelievable footballer. Did he want it more than Tom Davies did on Saturday? I don't think he did. Did he want it more than Alan did? No. Did he want it more than Abdoulaye Doucouré did? No. And that's what's so refreshing to see as Evertonians, is that we're not going into games with this illusion that we're as good as this Manchester United team, we're better than this Manchester United team, so we don't have to work hard and we'll get something, because that's how you turn up and you get spanked. That's why you turn up to Man City and you get beaten 5-0. That's why you turn up to Man United and you get beaten 4-0 pre-season. We're turning up going, we know we're not quite as good as these. We know they've got more quality. We know they've got a bigger squad. So we've got to work 5 times as hard as they do, and we'll get something out the game. And we did for the entirety of it. As I said, towards the end of the game, Manchester United have thrown on Sancho and Ronaldo and Cavani's come off, I think, and this, that and the other, Martial's come off. They're getting forward. They had the odd chance. I think Sancho had a shot which was easily saved by Jordan Pickford. A couple of balls come into the box. I think Yerry Mina was absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. As I said, Michael Keane, really, really solid performance. I thought Luka Dean in the first half, throughout the whole game really, but in the first half specifically, was putting some really, really good interceptions that allowed us on our way. Some really, really nice tackles. Ben Godfrey down that right hand side, other than the goal, I thought was really solid throughout the game. As I said, we've already talked about Abdoulaye Doucouré and Alan. The pair of them are just unbelievable footballers. Their intensity, their fight, their desire, their passion, just absolutely unbelievable. And Abdoulaye Doucouré, as a box-to-box midfielder, I agree with what people are saying in the live comments. I don't think there's many better than him in the Premier League at the moment. Yeah, as I said, Alan worked his absolute arse off. I think there needs to be a special shout for Anthony Gordon, because Anthony Gordon, of course, was on the pitch when we scored the equaliser. I think he come off. Tom Davies ended up coming on. Who else come on the weekend? Somebody else come on, didn't he? Can't remember who it was. Somebody will tell me in the live comments. But yeah, Anthony Gordon again. Lewis Dobbin it was. Lewis Dobbin come on, didn't he, in the last couple of minutes? Anthony Gordon again, absolutely unbelievable performance, unbelievable. One thing I've realised so far from seeing Anthony Gordon this season in the little sort of moments we've seen him in, is that this isn't an Anthony Gordon who is sort of looking at it thinking, I'm just going to stand and wait for the ball to come to me. If I'm on the pitch, I know what I'm doing. I'm an attacker. When the ball comes to me, I make something happen. But when the ball doesn't come to me, I'll just stand and wait around for it. This is an Anthony Gordon who's obviously been told by Rafa Benitez, you've got to go and make the game come to you. The game won't always come to you. You've got to go and get it. And again, on Saturday, he had a really difficult task coming up against the Man United team with all that quality, whatever. And he worked hard, he battled, he fought, he wanted it more than that United side did. He got the ball in a good area, in a good attacking area on a couple of times, played a nice ball into the box on one occasion. His passing was relatively good, but it's not his out ball that that I was most impressed with. It's not the fact that he got himself into a good attacking area that I'm most impressed with. It was the work rate, it was the battle, it was the desire, it was the fight, it was the willingness to put his body in the way, to show his strength, to out-fight players. It's that, it's that type of performance that you look at and you go, you want to play for Everton Football Club. You want to be here, you want to give your best. You want to show that you're good enough to for a position in this squad. And I thought he covered himself in a lot of glory on Saturday, Anthony Gordon. As I said before, he mentioned Anders Townsend, Damari Gray. Solomon Rondon, yeah, he's not fit, is he? He's not fit. Look, he stayed on and he battled and he showed his physicality and he used his body and he used his his strength well at times in the game, but obviously he wasn't massively in the game, that's for certain. But yeah, as I said, Man United are trying to get forward, they're trying to find a winner, they can't. Everton hit them on the counter-attack again, really nice ball in. Tom Davies has got it, very, very similar position to where Anders Townsend had it. We're all screaming, shoot, rifling into the top corner, blasting into the back of the net. He doesn't. He decides to pass it to Yerry Mina. Yerry Mina puts it in. I'm on the table in the pub. The pints are everywhere. Don't know where the pint is. I think it landed in another pub across the road. Celebrating, going off my head. 2-1 up. Yerry Mina's ran to whichever end it was. I think it was the Stretford end. He's done his little dance celebration. Couldn't be any better. Obviously, it goes to VAR. First shot. Tom Davies is onside. Second shot, Yerry Mina's offside by centimetres. Now look, I wanna talk about the Tom Davies shot for a couple of minutes here before we go into the live comments and ultimately finish up. It's very, very easy in hindsight to say, why didn't he shoot? Why didn't he rifle his foot through it? Why didn't he put his foot through it? Very easy to say that. We can flip this scenario and say that he did shoot and it went 55 yards over the bar and landed in the River Mersey, and we're all sitting here watching the replay, looking at the freeze frame going, why didn't he pass it to Yerry Mina? Yerry Mina's there, he's free, he's on his own, why didn't he slide him in? There's multiple different ways we can look at this. Now look, again, I'm a fan of Tom Davies. I like him, and I'm not going to sit here and have a go at him. I think he should have shot, personally, I do. I'm not going to sit here and lie or disagree in order to back the player. I think he should have shot, but I can also admit that he should have shot without feeling the need to have a go at him or call him for everything, this, that and the other for not shooting, because I understood why he made the pass. Now, yes, Yerry Mina was offside, but he wasn't offside by 2 mile. He wasn't offside by 3 mile. He was offside by a couple of inches, a couple of centimetres. In fact, if he had a different size boot, he'd have been onside. It's just the fact that he's got size 15 feet or whatever he's got, that means he's offside. So I understood the decision to pass from Tom's point of view. I also understand the decision to pass from Tom's point of view because I don't think he's confident. I really, really don't think he's confident. He's a lad that hasn't had a lot of football this season. Obviously, played the game against QPR a week or so ago in the Carabao Cup. Didn't cover himself in a lot of glory. It has to be said, he didn't cover himself in a lot of glory. Should have done better in that game. And like I said, it's so easy to sit here when you're sitting at home or in the pub watching it going, why didn't he shoot? Why didn't he put his foot through it? But the reality of the situation is he's probably got that ball in that situation, not full of confidence and gone, shit, what do we do? Now he's thought, what am I more confident in doing? Rifling this into the top corner past David De Gea, who's been one of the best goalkeepers in the world for, however long, or top of his game for however long, or I've seen that ball, there's the Yerry Mina, the defender isn't really looking, I'll slide it through to him. Again, was it the right decision? For me, I thought he should have shot, personally, but for him, he might have felt, I've got more chance of playing this ball to Yerry Mina than rifling that into the top corner. And Yerry Mina was, a couple of millimetres offside. Now, obviously, in hindsight, it's easy to sit here and say, why didn't he shoot? But as I said, it's Tom Davies. Had he have shot and it would have gone over the bar, people would have said, why did he shoot from there? We knew that, he's not a goal scorer. Why didn't he just pass it to Yerry Mina? So there's always multiple sides to the story. There's always multiple different scenarios and outcomes that could have happened or should have happened or whatever. Personally, I think from my point of view, I'd have shot. Because I'd have just seen the lights and the oh my God. But I'm not an Everton player. I'm not in front of 50, 60,000 at Old Trafford in the last 2 minutes with a chance to win it for my team. So it's easy to sit here and say he should have shot. But he might have thought, no, that's the better pass. Look, he didn't shoot. He passed it to Yerry Mina. Yerry puts it in. He's a couple of centimetres off, and Man United have got away with one massively. It is disappointing. However, again, I'm not going to sit here and have a go at him, because if it is a confidence thing, the last thing a player who's lacking confidence and a bit void in confidence needs is somebody sitting there having a go at him for not doing something that he, it's not like Yerry Mina was onside and he passed it and it went out, or he passed it and the ball was too light and the keeper got to it, or he tried to pass it and it went past him. It's not like is that he got it to Yerry Mina and Yerry Mina scored. It's just that he was a couple of centimetres offside. Should he have shot? Maybe he should have, but he obviously didn't feel like that was the right decision at that time, and that is a lack of confidence. That's a lack of confidence. Had Tom Davies been a lot more confident, put it this way, if Andros Townsend was in that situation, he's shooting. If Damari Gray's in that situation, he's shooting. If Abdoulaye Doucouré's in that situation, he's shooting. Now, yes, that may be because they're more attacking minded than Tom Davies, but it's also because the three of those just mentioned are a lot more confident than Tom Davies at the moment. So it's one of them. He didn't shoot, he passed it, the ball went in, it was offside, we move on. But, the final whistle's blown, and it's still an absolutely fantastic performance by Everton. Considering this was a game that a lot of people wrote us off in, didn't give us a chance in, and even a lot of Evertonians, including myself, felt really, really sort of, I wouldn't say nervous, but not very excited for going into it. I think the way we performed, and I think the fact that we can even sit here and talk about should be winning the game, and disappointed that we dropped 2 points, just shows how good of a performance it was. And as I said, it's telling that this Everton team realised that they haven't got as much quality as that Manchester United side. So if they want to match them, if they want to have the best opportunity of winning or getting back into a game, then they've got to work harder than Manchester United. And I think that would have been the team talk by Rafa Benitez at half-time. I think the team talk would have been, listen, we've got to want it more than they do if we're going to get anything out the game. And we did want it more than they did, and we should have won the game. But look, anyway, the points at Old Trafford with a weekend side, I'll take that all day long. We've got a break now for the international break. Obviously, we come back. Hopefully, we'll have the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, maybe even Seamus Coleman back after the international break as well. That would be absolutely perfect. And then we play West Ham. And like I said, hopefully, we've got a much stronger side to go out and get a win. But more than happy with that performance. A very proud performance for me. as I said, not often am I sitting here, massively made up with scores. Usually I'm like, yeah, it's a point, we'll take a point. I'm usually not specifically happy with them, but I'm really happy with this one because of the fight, the passion, the emotion, the work, the hard work, and the desire and the fight for the badge and the fight for the fans that the players showed on Saturday afternoon. Anyway, let's get back in the live comments before we do finish up the stream then. Where are we? Where are we? Oh, there we go. We've read that one, haven't we? Who do you think will win the derby? We read that one as well. Thought Michael Keane was Puyol, says C Plays. Matty Bluno says, Cam, you deserve to report a brilliant Blues performance with a smile on your face, especially after last year. It was awful week in, week out. You still made an effort to make these vids too, Blue. Thank you very much, my mate. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, I'll always make the videos, mate, whether it's good, bad, ugly, indifferent. We'll always be here making the videos. You can yeah, we'll do that. See you after, fella. Not you, Matty, not you. James says, Cam is boss, good way, mate. Thank you very much. You says, David showed why he's not on our level. I just think he showed why he's not as confident as anybody else. And again, like I said, it's a good pass. It's a clever pass. It's just that he's offside. And yes, he should have shot, but he didn't. Will says, Cam thought Gordon had a great game on Saturday. I'd agree. Hope he keeps it up. Says Will. Stephen says, we had the better chances. We let them have the ball. Should have taken the 3 points. Rafa got the tactic spots on. I agree. Fake PSML, Cam have a word, says James. The golfer says, the disrespect shown by the likes of TalkSport and Sky Sports is embarrassing. All talk of Manchester United should have won that game. Absolute joke. But look, we're piss boiling again up the Rafa Reds. Blues. Why did I say up the Rafa Reds then? Yeah, look, again, absolutely. I think Sky Sports, TalkSport, it's mad how many people are under this illusion that Manchester United should have won that game and were comfortably the better team and all of this nonsense. Absolute load of me arse, mate. Load of me arse. I look like James Bond, says Phil. Philip says, let's not forget their goal took a deflection. EFC 1 would have saved it otherwise. Jordan Pickford, yeah. Graham says, do you see Tyler Onyango as a possible replacement for the Corey when injured, Cam? When he returns to fitness, yeah. When he returns to fitness, I do. Obviously, Tyler Onyango had a bit of a bad injury towards the end of last season, so he's got to recover from that. He's got to get back to playing and obviously get back to fitness. But I think he's a player that will certainly be a member of Everton's first team in the coming, years and hopefully months when he returns from his injury. James, is it the like people show our fellow Blue House support? If you could hit that like button, it would mean a great deal to me. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. DCL's for it says, how much is Gray worth now? Priceless to us, mate. John says, Rafa needs some time with his team and Everton need to back him. He needs at least 3 years with this team, but I think the Everton fans would love a trophy this season or maybe next season. I'd love a trophy now, if I'm being honest with you, mate. Mitchell says, Townsend, Sue will last on Blue Twitter forever. It will. Stevie says, hey Cam, given the performance, who do you think is the missing piece or pieces in this Everton team? Great performance, up the F and Toffees. I think it's, at the moment, it's the strikers. It's Dominic Calvert-Lewin, it's Richarlison, and ultimately it's Seamus Coleman as well, isn't it? I still think we need a right back in the next transfer window, and I still think we could do with another winger as well, just to take that pressure off Townsend and Gray a little bit. They've played an awful lot of football recently. But in regards to now, I think it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison. As I said, for me, I've got no doubt in my mind. Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison start on Saturday. We win that game. We're talking about a win. Because they obviously bring more than what Solomon Rondon does. Solomon Rondon done alright, but they obviously bring more than he does. Eugene says, Van der Beek wants to leave Manchester United. Doesn't surprise me. Andrew says, credit to Brands and Ancelotti for bringing in Alan and Decore to the club. Really starting to be a brilliant midfield partnership. Yeah, and Everton fan talks about, says, Cam, I've got loads of Spanish homework for tomorrow. Wish me luck. Good luck, mate. Good luck. I can say, hola, buenos dias, and what else can I say? Juego el fútbol del, I don't know what toffees is in Spanish. I think it's something like candies. But yeah, up the F and toffees. Learn that one, and I'm sure you'll be alright. James says, you need a good spine in your team, and we have that now. Just got to keep going and fighting. Omac says, a midfield of 3. Donny van der Beek, Alan Decore in January will definitely get us Europe. James says, Van der Beek only 4 starts since he joined. I'm not convinced yet. Yeah, yeah, I'm the same. I think he's a good player, but I'm not convinced he's he's at the level that for this league. I'm not convinced he's truly suited to the Premier League, but I'm sure he'll get his chance either at United or somebody else. Maybe Everton, if we take him on loan, very low risk. I wouldn't be paying for him, but if we take him on loan and he works, then happy days. James says, St. Maximum, hell yeah. Stevie says, I feel like the pass from Tom Davies was a harder task than just taking the shot. Interesting, really, because it probably was. You're probably right. It was probably harder for him to slide that through to Yerry Mina than it was for him to just put his foot through it and have a shot, but he obviously felt more confident. And maybe Tom Davies maybe he thought too much about it. Maybe he thought, I can have a shot here, but I mightn't score, so I'm going to make the harder pass to Yerry Mina. I don't know. But we can sit here and talk about it for weeks about should he have shot, shouldn't he have shot, but he didn't ultimately. He played a really good pass, and it was unlucky that it was offside. Listen, if it was the Corday or Townsend that made that pass, we'd have all forgiven him by now. So, Eugene says, step-by-step guide on how the next 3 months will unfold at Bramley-Moore dock. Interesting. So unlucky that offside wasn't his fault for me. Pressure moment, says James. Peter says, Tom seems to be lacking confidence at the moment, but driving forward suits his game. Confidence will come eventually. I agree. Next time he shoots and scores, says James. Let's hope so. Whammy says, hi guys. Hi Whammy, hope you're doing well. Tommy Tucker. Isn't Tom Tucker the news fella on Family Guy? Is right, my mate. He says that dominance a bit like Greenwood, the way he moves. Hopefully he gets more on the pitch in the future. Yeah, listen, let's hope so. Really, really good young player, but still very, very young and inexperienced. So hopefully he gets more game time, like I said. William says, anyone see Rafa bagging on lamb legs? Rodriguez. It was fake. If you're talking about the quotes I'm thinking of, I think it's fake, to be honest with you. I think it's fake. But and Tommy says, family met Townsend on holiday 2 years ago, said he was a great guy. Teetotal as well. Yeah, he does. He seems like an absolutely model professional, and as you said, just a lovely fella. And that's what we need. We need players that are totally professional, that are going to work hard, that are going to battle. And I think Andros Townsend is very, very much liked by the Evertonians at the moment, including myself. I think he's absolutely boss. Anyway, look, we're going to finish it up there. Then if you have enjoyed this live stream, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. Massive thanks to everybody in the live comments. Really, really do appreciate it. If you want us a YouTube video, get your thoughts in the comment section down below, and we will be getting involved with as many of them as we possibly can. We will be back over the next couple of days with another live stream talking. You know what? We're going to talk about Andros Townsend and Demarai Gray, because I absolutely love them both, and I don't think I can go any longer without talking about them individually. So we'll be talking about those. As I said, if you have enjoyed this one, please hit that thumbs up button. It does only take a second. Just Gary says, hi Cam, have a nice day. Hi mate, thank you very much, hope you have a nice day too. Saul says, you were right Cam, was really impressed with Gordon on Saturday, disciplined and always looked a threat. Hopefully some more game time for the lad this season. Absolutely spot on, and I think that one word that you mentioned there, discipline, that's key. He looked disciplined, he was working hard, he was battling, but he wasn't just when the ball wasn't coming to him, he wasn't just standing around going, oh yeah, I'll just wait around here. He was going for the ball. He was actively out there searching for it. I thought he played really well. And you didn't see about the toffees. Massive thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this one, leave it a like, subscribe if you're new. Up the toffees. Really, really good result. That really good performance. Massively proud of it. Bit disappointed we didn't get all 3 points, but that just shows how good of a performance it was, I suppose. Massive thank you all for watching, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues. Cheers for watching. See you after.